USD students and Vermilion residents are doing their part to keep the Missouri River clean. The National Park Service, Missouri River Institute, and Vermilion Chamber of Commerce held their first cleanup project at the Clay County Park over the weekend.
We've been running cleanups on the river in other areas for several years, and we're doing the first cleanup here, and we'll see what we find and how we can make this section of the river better.
Tim Cowman says the cleanup focuses on picking up everyday litter that collects along the shores, but also some larger items that take away from the river's beauty.
A lot of that is left over from the flood 2 years ago. So there are things like broken up boat docks out there, there's lawn furniture, there's even pieces of sheds and buildings like roofs and so on.
More than 24 volunteers loaded into boats and covered 12 miles of river between Myron's Grove and the Newcastle Vermilion Bridge. Nathan Bedoya is a junior at USD studying sustainability. He has advice for students who spend time at the river.
Just keep your trash with you. Pack it out, pack it in. Just don't lose anything.
Cowman says that the Missouri River is especially important because of its historical significance. The cleanup is meant to restore the river to its pristine state.
This segment of the river is a special segment of river. It's a wild and scenic segment. It was designated by Congress as such back in 1978. And it has a lot of the qualities and characteristics of the river back during the time of Lewis and Clark's expedition in 1804, as well as the steamboat era.
Cowman says the Institute will continue to monitor the buildup of litter and debris along this part of the river. How much accumulates will determine whether the cleanup is an annual or biannual event.
As USD students return for the fall semester, they may have noticed a few additions to campus. 6 sculptures courtesy of the Sculpture Walk of Sioux Falls were installed on campus last July. The cost of the project is estimated at $50,000. Fine Arts Dean Larry Scoe says the goal is to embellish the campus.
We need to continue to beautify our campus and our community, the Vermilion community, and that's what these public art pieces do.
Despite the university's efforts, student reactions have been mixed.
Is it worth it? I don't know, but they look neat. The one by the Arts and Sciences looks like 4 pieces of concrete.
I feel like most of the statues look like they were just kind of blocked where they are.
The current sculptures are not permanent, and the university plans to replace them every 2 years.
On this week's blog, Chuck Gresser wants people to stop being so judgmental on campus.
Some people are just so negative. They want to complain about anything, whether it's politics, pop culture, jobs, or school. I've heard rumors and complaints about the campus itself, and I can recall a few examples I'd like to correct. First, the campus sprinkler system is great. No matter what time of the day you're walking, there's always a chance you're going to make it to class looking like the aftermath of an alligator attack. Even if you don't get wet, there's an even better chance a relatively new, but relatively uneven sidewalks sends you and your coffee or your phone to the ground. But to me, every time I trip and fall, I view it as another opportunity to pick myself back up. Thanks, USD. Another frequently criticized campus attribute is its artwork. Listen, it's art. If you don't like it, then you don't get it. And if you don't get it, then you actually get it. You're not supposed to understand art. That would be ridiculous. You're just supposed to use it as a landmark. As in, meet me at the giant comma, or use it as a background for those ridiculous selfies you're always taking. My final example of negativity comes from a recent chat I had with a swimmer, who, by the way, wishes to remain anonymous, so we'll call them Flipper. Flipper spoke negatively of USD's swimming pool, calling it a joke. The main reason Flipper feels this way is that the pool is laid out in meters, not yards. Well, I say boo-hoo. When you look at it in the big picture, almost every other country in the world uses the metric system. The university saw the way the world was advancing and took matters into their own hands. So what if the rest of the US swim world uses yards? We're different, and I like it that way. I could go on, but they're telling me I'm out of time. If you come back next week, you'll get a glimpse into my take on why we have so many squirrels here in Vermilion. For Coyote Blog, I'm Chuck Gresser.
Thanks, Chuck. Some of you may have noticed that Vermilion has a new restaurant. It's right across from the Dome, where Pros used to be. On this week's Yote Report, Jillian Doom takes a look at the new Howlers.
USD students dating back to the 1970s will recognize the name Pros Sports Bar, but the incoming class of 2017 will know the Dakota Street establishment by a different name.
Howlers has been open and serving the Vermilion community since the beginning of July, but the building has many renovations before it's fully open to the public.
Also the owner of Cherry Street Grill, Howlers owner John Robertson, says many changes and new additions are in the works to make Howlers stand apart from the old Pros.
The Prairie originally was built in, I believe, 1971, and hasn't really changed over the years.
When construction is complete, the building will boast not only a bar and restaurant, but also a 500-seat event center and a revamped bowling alley. Robertson says Howlers will bring a fresh look and attitude to the building and community.
There are lots of sports bars all over the country, and they're all sort of themed towards a team of some sort. We sort of have taken a stance that we want to be more of a fans bar.
Another new feature Howlers hopes to bring to fans is their fifth quarter celebration, serving up food and drink specials after each home football game. Vermilion resident and USD alum Mary Duncan says she has many fond memories of hanging out and playing pool at Pros, but Howlers also offers a great experience.
Service was really great. We walked in and was greeted immediately, and the staff seemed to know the menu quite well.
Like Duncan, many students, alumni, and residents remember the days of Pros, but she says Howlers should draw a similar crowd.
For the Yote Report, I'm Jillian Doom.
Thanks, Jillian. Coming up after the break, USD's Sanford School of Medicine is named one of the country's most popular medical schools, and a student-run volunteer organization is offering students the chance to serve the community. Stay with us.